Sabrina back here for another video, and it is a beautiful, bright 2019, and we are here for it. Yay! If you haven't subscribed, you might want to consider hitting that red button down below because this is going to be awesome. And today I am talking about the lessons I learned in 2018 as a part of my 2018 recap series. This is not going to be a Shane Dawson kind of series for you guys. This is part one, and there'll be a part two. That's it. And we will be done. So we are talking about the lessons learned in 2018. And for part two, we'll just be talking about other stuff. I won't tell you now. You have to watch it. Anyway, so let's get on with my list. Yay! According to all of those personality exams, I am a massive introvert, and a part of being an introvert means that I do love a bit of self-reflection. And so this video is right up my stream. I am going to reflect on 2018, on some of the lessons that I've learned, to share with you guys about what 2018 was for me and what I'm taking from it and applying to 2019 in hopes of like a better, brighter year. Who knows? So I have a little list here. I was gonna, write out some big soliloquy or something and, put that out there. But yeah, in between my resting and doing nothing, I forgot. So I just wrote a really quick list of some of the major points that I wanted to hit with this video. So again, last year was a lot for me, and as we go through the points, I'm just going to explain where that's coming, where these points are coming from, these lessons, and how I'm applying it and moving forward, and how you might be able to apply it in your life as well. So the first thing is I learned that having the hard conversations is so important. I think there's a lot of times in our lives where we just want to put things off until tomorrow. Like it's too awkward, it's too real to sit down and actually have a conversation about whatever. But I've learned in 2018 that it's really important to have those conversations. They're hard conversations because they are super important. Where this kind of played in for me in 2018, if you guys didn't know, my dad is suffering from Alzheimer's, and as he is progressing in the disease, which is really kind of like a regression to us outside in the world. It seems like a regression for him, but it's really progressing through the disease. There's just a lot of questions. When you sit down to make decisions and things, you just have all of these questions, and nobody wants to talk about, in the times that we're healthy, talk about, end game plans. Like, how do you want things to go? You as the person, how do you want your ending to play out, essentially? And, it's not like a conversation that we like to have, but I learned this year that those kind of conversations and a multitude of other kind of conversations are really important. They're hard and awkward, yes, I know, but they are so super important to have. Because now we're kind of trying to play catch up now, trying to make decisions, and feelings are in the way, and the person who we need to ask is no longer capable of answering those questions. So it's been really kind of interesting, and I wish that I had taken the time to have those kind of conversations, and not just those conversations about your end game. How do you want things to play out if you become incapacitated to make those decisions? It's really kind of like just the stories and recipes on how to make amazing the food from back home, and all those childhood memories and things like that. We're no longer in a place where we can have those conversations with my dad, unfortunately, but I do recognize that it's super important. So that's something that I did learn that really kind of came home to me in 2018, is that it's really, really important to have those conversations, whether it's with your significant other, siblings, children, co-workers, bosses. I know it's hard, but it's hard because it's important. So make sure you take the time out to really have those kind of conversations as soon as possible. I know it's not really a kind of like a happy note to start off on, but it was my number one thing that I learned in 2018. So hopefully the further points will pick us back up a little bit. So point number 2 is I just wrote down seek professional help. Okay, now, 2018 was an amazing year in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it was an amazing year, especially here on YouTube. A lot of people started opening the conversation of mental health. Right now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm suffering from some sort of mental health issue. I'm not diagnosed with anything. I have the standard sort of like anxiety stuff and things like that I deal with, but I am not saying that I have a mental health issue. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it was amazing this year that people started to open up the conversation, started talking about it, and a lot of people who do need help are now starting to seek that help. But this is just a very kind of general sort of statement in seeking professional help. If there's something that you want to do, something that you're struggling with, whether it's physically, mentally, financially, anything, I so suggest to go seek some professional help. Because, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's always like, oh, well, I want to learn about, how to save money or something like that. I want to like make money, and save it so that the money can work for me. And so I start talking to my friends. I got this coworker who plays in stocks. So I'm just talking to them and playing instead of just taking the time and, not talking to Cousin Pookie over there on the corner who, got something and knows somebody who's doing something that's going to get you some money. Get you some professional help. Whether or not you want to grow your bank account, your 401k, Roth IRA, stocks, whatever, you're suffering from something physically or mentally, whatever it is, I always suggest to go seek some professional help. Because in my situation, again, dealing with my dad and his health issues, obviously there are some things that we need to take care of, like wills and, elder care and et cetera. And people are like, oh yeah, that's so easy. You just do this and this form online and blah, 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 blah. But really, especially when you're working, in my situation, when we're working with the government and, getting money like retirement, etc., like that, disability, it's really, we learned it the hard way that it's important to get these things done professionally. Of course, it's going to cost us a ton of money to get it done, but we know once it's done correctly. And so that's my whole point for you guys. If you're trying to do something real big, like if you're trying to pick a paint color or something like that, obviously you can, just do your own thing, but know when you're out of your own depth and the depth of the people around you and say, okay, I want to spend the money, invest the time and the money if you need it to go get you some serious professional help. So that is my note there. For number 3, it was learn to be selfish. Now, we've always been taught that being selfish is a terrible thing and we shouldn't be selfish, we should be giving. And especially as women, we often find ourselves, men too, I'm not going to hate the dudes as well, we kind of overextend ourselves. Everyone wants something from us and we're just like, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I'll do it, whatever, kind of keep on pushing our boundaries, overextending ourselves to make other people's lives easier or happier for, our children, our family, our coworkers, our bosses, everything. We do everything. And, this year again with my dad's illness, it just got to be too much. It got to be too much where now my quality of life is suffering because I'm trying to make your life easier or, try to be there for you, but I really need to be there for me. So this is kind of a thing. A lot of people are talking about it. We'll probably be talking about at the beginning of the year is self-care. This is a part of that self-care thing. Learning to be selfish, learning to say no, and learning to be very kind of selective in how you spend your time, how you extend yourself, what you take on, and all of those things. So that was a big lesson for me, for my sister this year when we were dealing with everything. It's like, oh, we got to call these people and go here and go here and go here. And then, well, I probably haven't washed my hair in 2 weeks because I've just been running all over the place. I need to go do this for me. And, it was hard because obviously in my situation with my dad, I want to be there for him because obviously he was there for me growing up. But, at some point we just had to, running into the ground here. I can't go anymore. And then I had to learn to say no. And there's a lot of guilt. There's guilt that's associated with that. I'm going to be completely honest. You're not going to say no to somebody who's asking you for help and feel great afterwards. It takes a little while to get used to it. And, you know, but it's definitely worth it. It's something that I learned this year. And I think that a lot of people need to hear that as well. Again, everything in moderation. I'm not saying that you should tell no to everybody who comes up to you. But if you need time, take time. You know, you don't have to be at every function. You don't have to answer every text message or phone call or like every picture. You know, be a bit more selective with your time. Learn to self-care in that way and be a little bit selfish. So the next thing is, you know, learning to just ride the ride. Now, this is something very personal, very kind of like outside of, you know, my dad. My dad and his illness. Is that I am a planner. In that, when I'm taking on a new project, for instance, YouTube, you know, I have a plan. Okay, I'm going to start YouTube. I'm going to do this. It's going to be this kind of channel. And then all of a sudden, bing, bam, boom, I'm going to be just doing it full time, making all kinds of crazy money, just be this influencer. You know, and that's not what happened at all. That's not what happened at all. And you know what happens to me is that when it doesn't happen according to my plan, I start to become a little bit discouraged. It becomes harder to continue to do it. It starts to feel like drudgery and work when I do enjoy coming and making these videos for you guys. So, you know, I talked about it earlier this year. For me personally, I had to just learn that things will just take the time that they need to take, and I should just enjoy the ride while we go. So that is a big lesson for me. You know, this year was like, I don't need a plan. We're just gonna just take this ride as we go. We have to just take the ride as we go. Like, I made a commitment to start YouTube. I made a commitment to post once a week, and so we're just gonna go with how that goes. So that's why this is no longer a full-on keto channel. While I will still talk about keto things, it's not a full-on keto channel. We're just going to talk about what's relevant at the time and keep it moving, keep it pushing. That's what I think. But you know, that's been a really hard lesson for me, not just in 2018, to be completely honest with you. It's been into 2017, 2016. It's always a thing for me, just learning to enjoy the process, learning to just be on this ride, making that commitment to start something and just letting it go where it goes. And that is something I'm continually working on. So bear with, and we're gonna go on and do amazing things. Yay! So the last thing on my list is really kind of a two-parter. Sorry, it's a bit of a two-parter for me. I mentioned it probably in October or November last year in a very kind of short video where I gave you a work update. So this lesson is, you know, give up the fight and stop taking things so personally. So just to give you an update, or, you know, if you hadn't seen that video, I was talking about how things had, I don't want to say take a turn, they had become very interesting at work. And it was basically, I was facing, when I made that video, kind of one-on-one talk with somebody in the management about things going on in the New York office. And so the reason why I didn't give you an update after that video was because from that week until the last week of my time in the office for the calendar year, like the Christmas party, there had been numerous conversations in between. So and so it was a little awkward to give you an update. So basically, to give you in a nutshell, I've been at my current company for about 3.5 years. Yeah, 3.5 years. The summer will make 4 years for me. And when I started, I was like, oh, this is a great kind of opportunity. It's a small office. You can kind of make it as you go and kind of create this idyllic sort of environment and great office and, work experience is going to be awesome. So in my first couple of years, I was very kind of like, if you see injustice, say something. And, I was like the voice of the people because I was the longest reigning person there. And I was kind of outside of the situation. So, if I see injustice, I'm going to say something and I'm going to stick up for the people, those kind of things. And what I realized towards the 3-year mark, so last summer, was that I was the only person who was getting worked up about some of these things. And that, I mean, I would have these sort of conversations, whether they're formal or informal, talking about these injustices or, where we as a company are falling short for our employees. And I was getting so heated and so passionate about it. Like, I was just like, this is injustice. We need to do better. And this is what we can do better. X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. And I would get so worked up about it that at the end of the conversation, I would feel kind of let down and heartbroken at the end of it. While whoever I was talking to was just like, yeah, we'll take it under advisement and go along their merry way. And so then so that was the beginning of the summer, and I had to sit down and think to myself, because a few weeks later, my dad's thing kicked off. And so during that madness, there was a couple of moments there when I had to think, like, what was I fighting for? Why was I doing that? And why did every conversation leave me feeling hurt at the end of it? And so I decided to just give up the fight. I'm all for making things better, making a better environment, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. Yes, I'm all for it, even to this day. But I think I realized that I'm just a cog in this big clock. The wheels will keep turning. I'm just here as a little piece. And so I need to stop taking it so personally when I felt like these injustices were happening. I will do my part in, red flagging it, say, hey, this is something that's not really, too kosher. It's not nice. This could be a potential problem, but then I'll leave it at that. And I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing, but that's something that I learned and has brought me a great deal of peace in the second half of the 2018. It's brought me a great deal of peace. Just being able to say, I told you. Just being able to say that I said it, and what you did with that information is totally up to you. Because I'm good. I want to stop fighting. It's also about learning your worth, or it's your worth to yourself and how people value you as well. That's the second thing to that. It's knowing my worth to myself, how much I feel like I'm worth, and then recognizing how much I'm valued to other people. And then making a decision for myself. So if I decide that I want to leave, then that's what I'll do. If I decide I want to stay at the company and just kind of ride this ride out, like, number 3 said, or number 4, ride this ride until I'm ready to get off, then that's cool too. There's no reason for me to get heated. No reason for me to be crying because you just don't understand what I'm saying here. And it's a shame to see things happening the way that it's happening. But guess what? You can't say I didn't tell you. What you did with that information is your business. That's just me. And I'm happy to be there. I don't know. It's just been like so crazy. I'm not going to edit this video because, we're just going to go and be au natural and just be happy with this ride that we're on and my insanity. So guys, anyway, thanks for joining this video. If you haven't subscribed, then, I would suggest you subscribe because this is kind of gems. I'm dropping gems here, folks. I am really dropping gems. So if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Hit that red button down below, and you can press the bell if you want to. I'm not real crazy about hitting the bell, but if you want to, you can. And until the next video, guys, bye!